Man, what's that? What's this? What's this? Huh? What? Man, there's so many buttons. What's up, riders? Old Man Ronin here, and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, we're on the Kawasaki Versys 1000 SE, and man, we're going to talk about this bike and how it makes me feel besides all these buttons. I know, right? There's no way in the world I could ever get through all that stuff without sitting down and reading an owner's manual for like a month. I'm just teasing. But there's a lot of technology on this bike, and let's talk about it. Stay tuned. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of stuff that this bike can do, and you know, I'm a points and plugs kind of guy, and all this technology I kind of get lost on. I ride motorcycles by the seat of my pants, not necessarily by what the computer's trying to tell me what to do. Now, is that a negative? I don't know if it's a negative per se, but what it is to me is the fact that it's got more stuff than I need. I need a throttle and brakes and a gear shifter. No! I know, right? Let's see, come on. That's kind of all I need, but I mean, you know, there's different modes on this motorcycle, and there's this quick shifter thing that, and now watch here, I'm not even gonna touch the clutch, but I was able to shift. One of the things that strikes me odd about that is, and I just don't know enough about it. How's that sound? Because I'm a guy who likes to use the friction zone even when I'm running down the road. If I'm going to a hard corner, that maybe I need to trail brake a little bit and use that friction zone to bring the rear, you know, the pressure on the front end to where I want it to be. And so I use a combination of brakes and engine braking to make me corner in really heavy situations. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem like this is what it does. So again, if you're a lot more up on the higher technology, take it for what it's worth. Again, this is Old Man Ronin's channel. And Old Man Ronin is a little bit, I'm going to say, I don't want to say intimidated. Maybe I will say intimidated. But I don't know if it's necessary. I know the younger generation, these younger generation of motorcyclists, they want the easy route. I mean, you know, put it to you this way, how many guys know how to drive a standard shift car or a manual shift car anymore? I think they get lost in all the technology. I mean, I learned on a manual shift, and you know, I learned how to drive, and of course I've ridden motorcycles since I was 6 and street bikes since I was 14. I know, right? Doing a little bit of the outlaw stuff. But what this bike does really well is accelerate. I'm not kidding you. This thing's got some oomph to it, and you know, we're going to get on here on a 60-mile-an-hour highway, and eventually turns into a 70, and I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. Like right here. So I'm trying out that no clutch shifting, and yeah, the 6-speed transmission does well. Gets me up to, well, miles per hour. But yeah, I'm telling you what, guys, the thing is fast, it's stable, it's beautiful, it's smooth. I mean, super smooth. The engine does come down fast when you let off on the gas, which is pretty cool. But on the highway, I could see myself, if I had this motorcycle, riding extremely long distances, because it is very, very comfortable. And I would have to be careful, because all of a sudden you're doing 80 miles an hour, and that could land you in a little bit of problem in certain areas, because it really makes you want to go fast. You don't realize how fast you're going until you look down and go, oh, look at that. I mean, I'm running here at 75 right now at about 4,500 RPM. Stable as can be. This would be a really cool mile muncher. If this thing could crush miles as good as anything on the market, no question about it. It does have a little bit more buzzing to it, which I think is kind of a Kawasaki trait, to be honest with you. I don't feel it in the pegs here, and I definitely don't feel it in the seat. The seat is very comfortable for what it is, but I do feel it in the handlebars a little bit. So I'm getting a little bit of buzzing at this highway speeds. which would probably put my hand to sleep after a while, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, I learned a long time ago that the bar height has to be perfect for me, and you know, if not, I start to, you know, it's old age, using your hands as much as I have in my life and doing all the extracurricular activities, I won't say any more than that I have in my life, playing a lot of sports in high school. It really really takes its toll on your body, and when you're my age, you kind of feel it. But with that said, I noticed that there is a little bit of vibration in the bars, and that would be a kind of a, I don't want to say a downer, but I think maybe I could get something to soften that a little bit, maybe. I mean, I'm hardly even gripping the bars at all. I never do. My hands are just here. I kind of let one of the reasons I like to wear these kind of gloves here, it's got a little bit of leather in the bottom, because I can kind of let the gripness of the leather hang on to that throttle without me actually gripping it. You know, you can see over here, I'm just using the stickiness, if you will, or the adhesion of the leather to make myself go without gripping the bar. I know a lot of guys are putting a death grip on the bars. Don't ever do that. Just kind of relax. You know, push down when you need to make your moves. You know. But that's about all you need to do. But as far as a highway mile muncher, this is pretty cool. I could see this thing dressed up with some saddlebags, and you know, I'd have to have a back rest for Iron Lady if we took this on a trip. If it not just by myself, maybe put a big duffel bag behind me here, so lean, you know, like one of the Kemimotos, and lean up against it. That'd be cool beans, man. I could see myself riding coast to coast on this bike really, really easy. I do wish, though, that, and there may be some aftermarket stuff, that this was either way down lower or non-existent. That's just me. So, as a highway cruiser, you got to give this thing 2 big thumbs up. The rider stance is awesome. I know you don't do it on a sport touring bike, put different like highway pegs on it, but man, I'd probably go outlaw and put highway pegs on this thing, simply because I like to move my legs around a lot. I really like floorboards on a long distance ride. Man, I can't get used to not using the clutch, and so I don't think I'm going to. If I think about it, then I probably will try it. So yeah, do I need to even let off on the gas? Yeah, I guess a little bit. But shifts nice and easy, smooth. You do get some of that tactile feeling, which is important to me. Of course, this thing red lines up there at over 10,000 RPM, so you know, it's a ninja engine, and it's really used to doing what it's used to doing, and that means you can get up there in the high revs. And now, you know, I've taken it a little bit. I did that test when I brought the bike home about being in what, under 3,000 RPM. And 6th gear and throttling up, and see how fast she would go. That's what I'm talking about. Strong bike though, guys. I mean, strong. Probably the strongest I've ridden this year, as far as for pure speed and high performance. You can tell you're on over 1,000cc engine, I'll put it to you that way. But it handles beautifully in these corners. I mean, it really does. Yeah, I like this bike a lot. I do. There's a couple things like I mentioned, but this bike handles well. I would have to get really used to the technology. Again, I mentioned earlier in the video about me being a points and plugs kind of guy. I don't know if it's really necessary. What scares me as a old-timer is if something goes wrong with some of this stuff, how much is it going to cost to fix? It's kind of like all the accoutrement on the side of the bike. If I drop this thing, which, you know, I don't care who you are, guys, you're going to drop your frickin' motorcycle. And if you haven't, that's because you haven't ridden it enough, because you will drop your motorcycle. Yeah, this thing is handled so nice in the corners. It's supposed to have some kind of a lean feature. Beautiful day today. It's nice and cool. It's not overly hot. It's supposed to be hot and humid later on, but yeah, it's just so pretty. I really do enjoy riding these back roads in days like today. And I'm on a Kawasaki riding with a Royal Enfield t-shirt. What's up with that?
Nice.
So I'll tell you what, as far as handling of this motorcycle, the smoothness of the ride, this thing is it's near perfect when it comes to that. Like I said, I would prefer to have floorboards, but I don't think they do that on a sport touring bike, or maybe just a wide foot peg like we have on the Royal Enfields that you can get on my Meteor. Something to give my my big feet a little bit better perch, because I'm kind of moving all around on it, trying to get my feet in the right position. Now, the longest I've ridden this bike in one shot has been 50 miles. So I really don't have a real long-term ride on it. I wish I did, except I've only so many days in a week, and we've had some crappy weather the last couple of weeks. And it's kept me from riding as much as I wanted. I shouldn't say kept me from riding, kept me from filming. And I don't like to ride borrowed bikes in the rain. But I've been riding my own stuff, and like I said, just have to wash it after you're done riding. But oh, it's just such a beautiful day today, and I'm really tickled that I got the opportunity to ride this bike, because again, this is new for me. I've never been on a sport touring bike before, and I can see the desirability. There's a few things that this old boy isn't quite used to. Number one, all the tech. Number two, the rider stance for a bike that'll go this fast. I mean, this thing, I would prefer to have my feet kind of maybe less of a backward angle on it, because my legs are kind of bent backwards a little bit from my knee. And not saying that's bad, it's just saying that on a long distance trip that might get a little old. I prefer to have my feet out almost, you know, almost like a 90-degree bend on my my legs. It feels better to me. Now, not for curve riding. For curve riding, I like this. I mean, the way that this tank, let me see if I can turn the camera down a little bit. The way that this tank is formed gives me the ability to grip it really nice with my legs. And that is important in the cornering. So this bike would do really well, unlike the triple nickel or the rest of the windy 9. We are right now on one of the Pathfinder routes in Licking County. And now this is not as aggressive or technical, as what I should say, as the windy 9 and the triple nickel. But what it does offer is really nice, beautiful scenery and some nice sloping corners, particularly for you folks that aren't really experienced in the technical cornering. It's really good for that. If I'd have had this bike for a couple weeks, I'd have took it down on the triple nickel and really had a chance to really test it better. One of these days, one of these borrowed bikes, I'm going to be able to borrow for a really long term, like I did the Meteor. But then again, I ended up buying the Meteor. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should keep it exactly the way it is. It'll save me money. Yeah, as far as comfortability, it's not bad. I do enjoy it. It's smooth. There's no question about it. I don't get a lot of vibration anywhere except just a little buzzing in the handlebars, and that's really all I get. Other than that, no, man, it's really smooth. Brakes are great. Oh, that's kind of like I said. The last couple of Kawasaki's I've ridden have really showed me that. They are. I mean, even the back brake is nice, but the front brake, this thing really grabs. I mean, it's like boom. You could almost get yourself in trouble. It brakes so well. I guess. I don't know, I've never seen too many guys do stoppies with a sport touring bike. I'm sure it's possible, and I'm sure somebody's done it. Oh yeah, you can pull a front wheel off the ground really easy with this bike. But like going to this corner right here, I'm gonna, you know, I don't even need to know if I need to slow down. Let's just see. Oh no, shoot, you don't need to slow down. It does give you confidence the way this bike runs. It gives you confidence in the corners. You know, a lot of guys when they get on a new motorcycle, they take it really easy, as well you should, until you get used to it. But this one here, I seem to be able to get more used to it quicker, because I can feel how it's going to perform, and the fact that I can drop it off of the throttle with the engine braking, I mean, almost immediately, is really desirable. I mean, that really is a great aspect. Like right here in this corner, I'm not using the friction zone. I'm not even trail braking. I'm able to, just because I'm throttling down and throttling up in the highest gear I've got, 6th gear, no issue. super easy to ride in twisty roads. That's a great asset. I'm becoming a fan of the sport touring. But I'm going to call it a rider review as I'm riding. I'll think of a title to put in there, but I think that it's kind of a cool concept of reviewing the bike as you're riding it, as opposed to sitting back and looking at the numbers. But the fact that we can just ride this bike and tell you how it makes us feel, I think is more important than actually the numbers. And how this bike makes me feel is it gives me a lot of confidence. I'm hoping not overconfident, but I know as I drop off there to go into this corner and then I can throttle into it, the bike literally wants to do what I want it to do. It's kind of like it's talking to me. Here, Ronin, this is what I think you should be doing, and this is what I think you want to do, so let's do it. And that's kind of the feeling I get from riding this motorcycle. It's kind of intuitive to me. It's telling me by riding that it wants to please me, and it's going to do what I ask it to do. And that's an unusual aspect, and I don't care what brand it is. That's an unusual aspect in a motorcycle. That this bike is very intuitive, and it wants to please me. It wants me to ride the way I want to ride, and it's not going to hold me back, and it's not going to I mean, it can overwhelm me if I get too much into the throttle at higher speeds, but it knows by my hand on this throttle what I want to do, and it's kind of just saying, I'm going to listen. I'm listening. It's like a good dog. Good boy. Good boy. That's what I'll say. Well, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video today. I gotta tell you, I'm really having a blast riding the Versys 1000 SE, and I've had a kind of a change of heart. Maybe that's what we're going to call the video. I had a change of heart on the sport touring Versys 1000 SE, because I'm telling you what, I'm really enjoying this motorcycle. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell notification button. Share and comment. You know I read all the comments and comment on as many as I possibly can. Until next time, guys, ride safe and keep her on two wheels, baby.